start with existing processes. I know we're kind of coming up on time. We have a little, 15 minutes left, but this is probably the most important slide of this presentation. Why track AI's impact, and what are we tracking? You want to track, at least for the first couple of months of adoption, you want to track AI's impact because you want to know if it's been a successful rollout, and you want to know that you're getting value out of it. That might seem silly and it might seem obvious, but you don't want 6 months to go by and everyone goes, how are we using this? Who's using it for what? You want to share those wins, share the ROI. It's not always going to be time. Time is easy. It's the easiest one to conceptualize. Minutes, hours, days saved. It saves me an hour a day, 5 days a week. It's 5 hours a week. It saves me 20 hours a month. That's easy to calculate. But then you have things like cost, right? We talked about that 20% across 5 people is basically like having a 6th person on the team. Quality and accuracy metrics. We're pretty much at the point now where AI is accurate enough. There was a time in the not so distant past where AI would hallucinate a lot. Which basically just means that it wants to be helpful, and it might tell you some things that aren't true to make it seem like it's being helpful. That doesn't really happen as much anymore. And especially with things like code execution and AI being able to use math the right way, those errors have gone down to the point where it's as accurate as a human would be. So you can measure error reduction, consistency. AI can be very consistent if you prompt it correctly. Resource allocation, maybe something that used to take 5 people to do now takes 3. And then creative and strategic freedom. So if you have 20% of your day back, I know that there are projects that you're all working on that you're like, oh, but I have all this stuff to do before I can really sit down and spend time with that. There's so much value in having time to just think and be strategic, no matter what your role is. So that brain power, that time given back to you is so important. And I think that's the last slide that we had, but I'm curious if there are any other questions about this.
Any other questions for Mark before we wrap up? Looks like we can wrap up a little bit early. Mark, do you have the contact slide after
Yeah,
this?
absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, while you guys are maybe putting a couple of questions in the chat, wanted everybody to know that we can get you access to this platform very quickly. Also, anybody who has attended this webinar can gain access to the first month for free. We would ask that all of your employees who gain access to the platform go through the AI championship training within that first month, just to make sure that people understand how to use the platform. If you are interested in getting set up, all you have to do is shoot me an email. You can, you can scan the QR code here that links right to my email address. Just send me your contact information, the name of your organization, and the number of users that you'd like to gain access to, and I'll get in touch with pricing and get you guys activated on the system. Looks like we might have a question coming in here.
Yeah.
Okay, companies that are leading in adoption, what's one thing that they're doing that is leading above average adoption, do you think?
Yeah. One thing that they're doing is, it's the very first thing that we talked about. It's just the standardization. It's lifting that barrier of, am I doing something wrong by using AI? Are they gonna, think that I'm replaceable if what I'm doing is AI? Getting rid of all of those misunderstandings or those fears, and saying, no, as an organization, we want you to do this. We're not going to get rid of we're not going to get rid of anyone for using AI. That's the opposite of what we're trying to do. We want you to be more efficient, and everyone is going to have access to a standard tool or set of tools, right? It might not just be one thing. You might have several things that you're using that are in that AI tool belt. So it's eliminating that fear of I have to do this secretly so no one thinks that I'm, not working. And we're all going to be using this one tool or this set of tools. That's the one indicator. To kind of look at it from the other side, Will, the companies who are having a bad time adopting, the ones who have failed deployments with AI, they're bottlenecking AI with the most technical people. Like, oh, right, yeah, maybe I have an engineer on staff, or maybe I have someone who knows about all that technology stuff. We'll give it to them and not roll it out to everybody else. And the most technical people in the room are the ones who are going to, sure, maybe be able to do some cool things with it. But, Keith over in HR, he can do a lot with it without being technical. There's different use cases, right? That's why no one can come to your company and say, I have 5 use cases for you. Because if you have, okay, maybe if you only have 5 people and each person uses one, everyone's going to have their own use cases. Go back to that slide of, professionals know their industry best. You roll it out to everyone, and it's bottom up. They are going to find their own use cases, and ones that are more impactful than anything you might see from a company saying we have the best legal use case or the best manufacturing use case. So that's my 2 cents on that, Will.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the the 2 things that are key are, standardization and communication.
Yep.
If your teams are communicating about how they're using AI, they can bounce ideas off each other and just make themselves that much better, that much quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that I really liked, and I think, Mark, it was on your run phase slide. I think it's even applicable to the crawl phase.
Mm-hmm.
Was I noticed that I can use, you said using AI to use AI.
Yeah.
And this was before you guys rolled out the navigation or the
Mm-hmm.
navigator course. You can ask the platform, what tools will I get the best results if I'm looking to do this? And you can really ask it questions on how to better utilize the platform, which I just think is so cool.
Chris, we didn't talk about this. Do you want me to show the platform, not for like a live demo perspective, but just like visually so people can see like what it looks like? Is that something?
Yeah, that'd
Do you
be
want to
great.
look?
We've
Okay.
got a couple of minutes. I think it'd be
Yeah.
a good exercise for sure.
Yeah. So I have it here. If you can all see that. This is the platform. If you've used a generative AI tool before, it doesn't look too dissimilar. You have the chat bar. We talked about all of those LLMs, those AI models. We have 58, and I think I used the term analysis paralysis before. You're not going to use 58 models. You're never going to use all 58 of these. You can.
I think I maybe use like 3 or 4.
Yeah, me too. Me too. We do have a little like, help me choose the right LLM kind of quiz on our documentation page, but you can sort by platform. You're like, oh, I've heard about OpenAI. I want to try some of theirs, and so you can go and use those. It tells you about them. It tells you, how basically intelligent they are, how fast they are. This is important. They use tools. Well, what are tools? Um, if I'm talking to you guys right now, this is like me talking to AI, right? It's a person to person, a person to AI. Tools are there's another person in the room. So tools would be things like, the web search, using Perplexity for research, or using Google Maps to help with some cool use cases, or Python code interpreter to create new documents for you. We're going to be adding some more tools in this way, but Microsoft 365, I can turn that on and talk to my Outlook, talk to Teams, OneDrive, SharePoint, Excel. All of these things would be a tool. And I'll show you this. One thing that's really fun is like just turning on one of them. I'll use Microsoft 365. Actually, I don't think I have that turned. No, I do. It's integrated here. We'll choose one of these models. You can see which one it is, but you can ask it with Microsoft 365, what can I do? And it'll give you a list of all of the different tools that it has access to. You say, well, does that mean that I can, update an Excel file or change or add a new tab to an Excel? And I'll say yes or no, and here's how you do that. It can help you do that. We have a workshop assistant. So we talked about workflows and agents. You don't need any special training on how to build those. You can just turn on a workshop assistant and say, I want an agent that's going to access my my Salesforce and my Fireflies and that use case that I talked about for sales. Can you build that for me? And it'll go and build it and give you access to it. We have a workshop. I know we have some people in different industries on the call today. We have different categories based on industry for you to, they're basically templates, right? You can take some templates and save them and then edit them, right? So if you're like, oh, I wonder what this legal research assistant is, well, let me try it out. And it takes a second to load in all of the system prompts and everything, but then you can chat with it right here and see if you like it. So that's basically the platform. Lots to cover in the apps, workflows, and agents section, but that's all in our learning portal if you're interested.
Mark, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. I think the things going on over at Hatz are super exciting as we head into 2026. So a lot of cool tools available.
Thank you so much for inviting me to take part in this, Chris. We really appreciate our partnership and really appreciate everyone coming out for